What's woven spirit? Is that like
All right.
something to do with the clothing brand, like hats and stuff and scarves and that, hiking hats?
Yeah. So my partner, if you can hear screaming, that's my daughter refusing to probably like get out of the bath or something.
Oh, that's
No.
right.
But anyway, she's all good. Yeah. So my partner, what year would it have been? I can't remember what year it was, but she started getting sick, and we didn't know what it was. She started going a little bit crazy, and losing lots of weight. And I say crazy because I was saying like, Emma, you're losing weight like rapidly. What's going on? And she was like, no, I'm fine. Because she was eating. Wait, come on. Anyway, she ended up getting diagnosed with Graves' disease, which is a hyperthyroid condition. So her thyroid was working overkill.
All the time, yeah.
So we went into hospital. She had to have her thyroid removed. So she had an operation. She got a scar on her neck, and as they were removing it, they found a big lump of cancer on there. So she had thyroid cancer. She's fine now. She's just recently. It's been a few years now, so she's just recently sort of come out of remission, if you like. She's been clear for enough time. She just goes for a checkup once a year now.
Oh, that's good.
But during that time there was like a long time between her getting diagnosed with Graves' disease and having her thyroid out. It was like a really confusing period of time. And during that time, she was weak. She didn't want to do much. She was really struggling with life. And I, as a partner, as somebody who was like really energetic and got all these ideas.
I'm smirking, not because of that, but because of a situation that I experience and my fiance experience right now that's not too dissimilar to your own.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. What, with you guys?
Yeah, well, whereas when you said you being all hyper and all that and someone else struggling, that's exactly like our relationship sometimes, because my partner's has a lot of health issues as well, which we're trying to find at the moment a solution to, with quite great difficulty, because the support that you get from these big organisations like unfortunately the NHS and the doctors and whatnot, it's more of a one-size-fits-all approach, and we're way beyond that now, and then it starts to get harder to find the information that you need. Yeah. But sorry, I interrupted a little bit there because it reminded me.
No, but it's so true, man. Like we feel like we were so confused about it at the start. If we hadn't have been so confused, we could have maybe found alternative therapies. But because we were so confused and we didn't know what it was, and we couldn't understand what was going on with her, it went pretty quickly. I mean, it took a while. It took like over a year, but that's in the greater scale of life. That's quick.
Yeah.
It was like the invasive surgery happened, like bang, get it out. And then you start to feel like you go through the whole thing of, oh, shit, like she doesn't have a thyroid anymore. This is medication for the rest of her life. And it's like, it's a big thing, man. But while we were going through that and Emma wasn't feeling well, I was trying to find ways to kind of connect with her, because she was in this dark place and I couldn't see down there. Do you know what I mean?
It's I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
There wasn't a head torch powerful enough to peer down into it.
But you don't know when someone else is experiencing something but they look fine, i.e. like, as far as you can physically see, yes, okay, they might have lost some weight, but otherwise they seem okay. Like, it's hard to see what someone's feeling. It's tough. And we're in that situation now where it's, I'm lucky enough to not have any problems, touch wood, but we're not all that lucky, and not everybody shows signs of suffering.
No, that's it. But we, yeah, that's totally true. And I tried loads. And one day I was in the shop, so I'd gone out in the morning. I'd stopped all my mountain leading and everything just to work at a bistro to be close to home. So, and the guys that I work for, it's a place called Blenkinsop Castle. They're amazing, man. Like, if I needed to get home for Emma, they would just like go. So it was just a perfect setup for me.
Yeah.
At that time. And one morning I'd got up. I was doing a split shift at work, and I'd gone to the shop, and I'd got her a knitting magazine.
Yeah.
Because she'd mentioned she fancied knitting, so I took the knitting magazine back and I gave it to her, and I was all like, I thought I'd get you this. And anyway, I went to work and I came back at lunchtime. And when I came back, like, the knitting needles were at one side of the room and the yarn was at the other side of the room. And I was like, what's going on? And she was like, I can't do it. And she was really frustrated that she couldn't get the knitting, the needles right. And yeah, and I was like, oh no, I failed again. This is really bad. Like, anyway, I went back to work, and then I came back in the evening and she was still up, and she was sat with her fingers all wrapped up in yarn, and she was finger knitting.
Right.
And I was like, oh, okay, this is new. Anyway, she then said, I want to get a crochet hook. I'm going to start crocheting. I think I could do that better. So I ended up sat in the living room for about maybe 2 or 3 weeks, just like smiling, watching her crochet and thinking, yes, I found something that she can do. Like, yeah. And then she was like, why don't you come and sit next to me and do it yourself? And I was like, oh, all right. So I sat next to her and I started crocheting, and then it became like just sitting watching films, crocheting. And then but we were doing that like all the time. Yeah, so we ended up doing that all the time, and then before we knew it, we'd made these like legit beanies. And then it was like, should we do a Kickstarter and see if we can make this into a business? And then it was like, yeah, let's do a Kickstarter. So we did a Kickstarter and we smashed it. But the thing is, right, we did this Kickstarter and we made like over $1,000 to get us kickstarted. But the amount of hats, like, my fingers were calloused.
Yeah,
by
you need someone else.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. And I was a bit cheeky because from that we got a camera and we got a laptop, and the idea was to promote Woven Spirit. Obviously, Emma got a job at English Heritage, which she loves, like looking after this priory, and she's the manager there now. And obviously, I've just utilised the camera and the laptop for doing my YouTube stuff.
Well,
but
I saw some of the
Woven
hats.
Spirit,
They look good. I've seen it. I've seen like one of the pictures with the like hats and like the little tags. You could pick it up again, partly, and offer them to people out in the mountains on your hiking expeditions.
well, I've thought about this. It's something that I would be willing to do, but it's a winter thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, defo. It's partly a winter thing. Not if you can do hair bands.
Yeah. I don't know. I struggle now to sit.
Yeah. I know exactly what you mean.
There's some cool people out there. There's a guy called oh God, what's his name now? Anyway, there's a guy out in Boston, in America. Brooklyn Boy Knits. He's dead cool, man. I followed him loads. He's like sat on the train in Brooklyn and he's knitting. So yeah, that's what Woven Spirit was. It was something for me and Emma to come together, and it was an activity that we could do together. And it actually, like, the whole Kickstarter thing, I think that was more about us succeeding together. It was like a third party that came into our lives and showed us that we can succeed together. And now that's moved on. Now it's like we're doing the garden together. So today we built a greenhouse.
It's been positive all round then.
Well, yeah, it's been hard, and we're not perfect. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but no one is. Who is? Who is?
Nobody.
Nobody.
But yeah, trying all the
Absolutely.
time.